All right. Hello and welcome everyone to tonight's AMA. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm very excited to talk to Erez about stablecoins and the future of stablecoins. But before we do that, I'm just going to go over a few things just to make sure that everybody knows about some upcoming events and a little bit about us. So these events, these AMAs, are actually a collaboration between Women in Digital Economy, Off-Chain, and All Things Blockchain, which we're working together. These are three communities trying to basically collaborate and just bring some more education to the ecosystem. Tonight, we are interviewing, or I am interviewing, and we're going to hand it over to you. So any questions that you have, please go ahead and put them in the chat as we go through about stablecoins. Erez is the founder of Stables.Money, and he's going to tell you all about that in just a moment. They are also one of the ATB sponsors as well. So just quickly, who am I? For those of you that don't know me, my name is Danielle Marie. I am a Web3 educator and community builder. I wear many different hats in the industry. I won Blockchain Leader of the Year award last year at the Blockchain Australia Blockies. I am the founder of Women in Digital Economy. I'm also the founder of All Things Blockchain, which I'll tell you about just in a moment. I am one of the co-founders of Off-Chain Brisbane, and I'm also on the blockchain committee for the ACS. If you want to learn more about what I do, or if you're interested in education or getting more involved in the community, just go ahead and scan that QR code and you can reach out to me, and I'd be happy to see how I can help you. Now, for those of you that don't know about All Things Blockchain, I founded it back in 2020. Okay, it's fully nonprofit, and we run 100% off of our sponsors and volunteers. And my vision is for a community to be organized by the community, run by the community. And we definitely have some big visions of expanding that. And we recently have grown our team, which I'll talk about just in a moment. So these events wouldn't happen without our sponsors. So you can see we've got quite a few of them on there. These sponsors are what allow us to be able to cover the operational cost of our nonprofit, and also be able to provide all the resources to be running these types of online events. But we also do in real life events. We do one a month, and I'll be talking about the one that we have coming up in just a moment. As I mentioned, we have a team of volunteers, and we've just recently grown because we're expanding our community from being in real life on Brisbane to being online. So a lot more AMAs. I've got one of our collaborating partners, which I'll tell you about in a second, where we're going to be hosting events inside of Metaverse. So the more we want to grow as a community, the more volunteers that we need. So if there's anybody on this call that is interested, we're always looking for volunteers, because there's many jobs and many things that need to happen to grow a successful community. So please reach out to me if you are interested in joining us. We have some collaboration partners: Off-Chain, RFox, and Women in Digital Economy. We like to collaborate with other communities to kind of help bring our vision together. If you like to travel and go to events, you can go to Off-Chain. So they're also a nonprofit all over the world, okay? And they host events, so you can go onto their website if you're traveling, going to Singapore or going over to Europe. You can go and see and connect with some like-minded people. Women in Digital Economy, which is one of the projects that I launched at the start of the year. We primarily run educational, community, and mentorship programs, specializing in helping women enter in the ecosystem. And then lastly, RFox, which is the metaverse that we are going to be partnering up with. And once they have their WebGL version ready to go, we will be hosting all of these events inside of the metaverse, which will be super cool. So just lastly, before I hand it over to Erez and we start picking his brain, we have an upcoming. So every 2 weeks I do these events. The next one, which will be on March 18th, will be the future of Solana. And I'll be speaking with one of their community managers about basically the current ecosystem. He's going to be talking about one of their DAOs and kind of what's going on in the Solana ecosystem. So if you're interested in that, tune in 2 weeks from now. As I mentioned earlier, Brisbane has ATB, All Things Blockchain, hosts live events every month on the first Wednesday of the month. And this week is International Women's Day on March 8th. So our event on the 6th is in honor of International Women's Day. And we have 5 female founders that are building in Web3. And we're going to be, and they're all in different areas. One's in marketing, one's in, Bitcoin, the School of Bitcoin and Accounting. Another one is got a project in water. So they're all coming from kind of diverse backgrounds, and they're going to share a little bit about their journey and help basically anybody that's interested in either a kind of building in the Web3 space or kind of maybe transitioning their career. Blockchain Australia, for those of you that are unaware, is our association body for all of Australia, and they actually have just recently created an events page. So if you go to their website and go to events, you'll see all of the events that are happening all over Australia. I do highlight some of the key ones that I think they're really critical to get to in my newsletter on LinkedIn. But if you want to know what kind of events, whether you're in the Gold Coast, Sunshine Coast, Melbourne, Sydney, Perth, all of them are integrated onto their events page. So that's a really good source to be able to find events. Now, if you want to stay up to date with us and lots of different things, because we have a lot of different events and things coming up, you can go ahead and scan that QR code, and it's just going to lead you to our contact details and how you can connect with us. So that's it from me. Now let's jump into the fun stuff and let's talk to Erez. Erez, thank you so much for joining me. I know that you are a very, very busy man, so I appreciate your time. So,
my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. All right. So what I want to do,
having us as tables, in fact.
Okay. Before we jump in, and I have a whole bunch of questions that I've kind of prepared, and then we are going to open it up to the audience. So as the audience wants to put their questions as we kind of go through, feel free to put them in there, and then I'll go back through and ask Erez. But to start off, can you just give us a little bit of an overview of your journey, how you kind of landed in the Web3 ecosystem, and then the second part to that, why you founded Stables, because I'm sure your journey of going into the Web3 ecosystem is kind of what led you to founding Stables.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, Danielle. And good to be a sponsor and supporter of ATB, even from last year, and being in the community there up in Brisbane. In Melbourne today, and this week I'm in Melbourne with some communities here as well on Wednesday and Friday. And thank you for having Stables. So a little bit of my journey, without taking up the full hour because I tend to ramble, is my background is in venture capital. I started off in a family office in London as a younger Erez, as a little analyst. My role was to do DD on businesses and to build some businesses in their portfolio. And then I came back to Australia. I worked there for about 18 months. And then I came back to Australia and actually hadn't finished my degree. I finished it and did some against the grain things where we launched a business from scratch with a mentor of mine. And then I worked in a fintech for automated medical loans online with some other guys who I know. And then I got a call to work at this business called Equitize, which at the time was in 2017. And maybe then similar to now, but also similar to 2021 for sure, is, you know, the ICOs were popping up in this summer to tell this story to this community. And when this business Equitize, I joined 3 months before they got a new financial service license. So it's a fintech. And it automates the investment process into private companies. So we did IPOs, high net worth raises, and retail raises, and we were the largest platform of our kind in Australia and New Zealand for the period that I worked there, which was 2 years and 10 months, and we raised about 40 million Australian dollars in that period of time for, you know, businesses that had like 100 mil revenue, some that were like mining companies, some that were pre-revenue, like neobanks, the first crypto exchanges, some of the first types of fintechs that traded shares, craft breweries, gin distilleries, fashion labels, stuff like that, like quite sector and stage agnostic. So I always have a background quite broad. However, I love to build and I love to use a framework of building. And I, thank you, Lisa. Yeah, they're good guys, Johnny, and, you know, a lot of respect for them. And Chris, and so with Equitize, you know, it was a first of its kind fintech. It was a first of its kind new class of financial service license in Australia. And we took a lot of responsibility with who we raised money from. My job was head of fundraising. So I would take 3,000 companies down to 20 a year. And we'll probably fail on about 4 of those a year of that 20, but 84 point something% success rate. and, you know, built a lot of very good relationships. One of those was Daniel Lee, one of our other founders who lives in Melbourne, I've been spending time with. But also, you know, how I got into crypto was really from Bernardo. But like by virtue of my background, I'm capable of understanding and learning of a breadth of things. I was quite skeptical. And this was in 2013. I really banged my head against a wall, like, to be honest, because I feel like I did miss out a lot. But I was always there investing and building shit. And then Bernie and I have been great friends for about a decade from uni. We studied ethics and finance together. That was the one subject we had together. And he, if you would be surprised, extremely conscientious student, always in the front row with his, you know, cap on and sunglasses, his glasses on, being most attentive. And you know, we became great friends over many years, but we always knew that we were highly complementary in our skill sets, and we're very different people, to be fair. But he's a guy I respect a lot, have a lot of admiration for. Pardon?
What led you to starting Stables?
Yeah, so then with Stables, with Bernie, what we saw was, this was in 2021 in Feb, 2021 in Feb, where we effectively kicked off what was the business. And stable coins were at about it was before the bull run, like, don't get me exactly, but it was like 10 billion market cap. But 3 years before, it was 400 million. And then that year it went to 160 billion and dropped to 140. And obviously crypto went from 3 trillion roughly market cap to 1 trillion, but stable coins didn't drop in proportion effectively. And they're the backbone and the pillar of crypto. And we also thought that the ability to access the US dollar easily in a digital wallet really was powered by stable coins. And this is now how I communicate this. It's just it's a new way of me saying it, is with kind of, yeah.
Maybe I'll just start asking my questions, because I
Oh, you
feel like
asked a question, yeah.
I might just start answering my questions as you continue along. So why don't we jump into that? So for those that are on the call and maybe, you know, they've heard of stable coins, they understand they're kind of back to the US dollar, but can you kind of, how do you explain to somebody that really doesn't understand what stable coins are and how they're different from cryptocurrencies? How do you explain it to them?
Yes, good question. Okay, cool. Let's do this. This could better. So, all right, I have my wallet somewhere here. Fiat money. You good? It sucks. It's old. If you want to send it cross border, you have to put a life vest on it. It has to go through passport control. Rightfully so, right? But it has changed hand a few times. Digital money in Australia, we have, you know, digital money. It's very good here. We probably take a little bit for granted what other countries have. In terms of digital payments, I don't really use a wallet or cash here, right? Then there's stable coins. Like, forget about crypto. If stable coins came before crypto, crypto would be very different. It would be called stable coins, pretty much, because crypto is almost stable coins. 50% of all volume of Bitcoin is traded in stable coins. 80% of all TVL and DeFi is locked in stable coins. And you know, so a stable coin is that next level of digital money. It's interoperable digital money. And that gives you profound benefits if you build it at the core of your business, as a business like ours, as a payments business, because we can conduct the end-to-end payload with no middlemen, using blockchain, using stable coins. But a stable coin is really just a stable unit of value that's interoperable in Web3. And I'll stop there. Yeah.
Perfect. No, I think that's a great way of explaining it. I'm going to jump into some of the questions from the audience in just a moment, but just to piggyback off of, so what's the primary advantages of using, say, a stable coin over our traditional system that we currently have for payments?
All right. So this guy, I didn't get told this. I'm pretty sure it was a guy at Sequoia the other day who told me this, and I thought it was such a great way of saying it. Because I said to him, what are you excited about here? This is not the little peon at fucking Sequoia. This guy's like quite a senior guy, pretty much. Main thing is he says to me, well, the way we see payment systems is there's Swift. So the banks run a network called Swift. I think we all know it. I don't know if anyone can send emojis on the thing, but if you raise your hand and say who's used Swift and it sucks, I think everyone can agree. It costs like 80 bucks. And it's going to cost you like 3 to 5%, right? And take you a week or 2 weeks or something. It sucks. Then this is what he said. He calls this private liquidity pools. This is what he said. It's not liquidity pools like all of you degenerate people think it is, and like I think it is. It's not decentralized ones. It's private. It's not centralized. It's private. And what that means is like Wise, they're very cool, but all they do is just have one money in one jurisdiction and money in another. And forgive me, Wise, you're on the call, but like effectively the money doesn't move. They're just keeping it here and keeping it there, which is sick and it's great. Don't get me wrong, but they're making a market with two liquidity pools that they're holding inventory of. That has limitations. You have to hold inventory, as I said. There are marginal costs in holding inventory that aren't efficient, and the transmission of value isn't actually occurring. It's like a pig with lipstick on it, or something with a mask on. I don't know what the term is. But with a stable coin in a blockchain unit economics on a scaling network, out the outset, we can compete with Wise, who is the most cost competitive in the world out the box as a startup. And that's the benefit, because then we can pass that on to all of you, and we can do some really cool stuff for people in emerging markets with their ability to hold the US dollar, and many other things that we're very excited about. So that's kind of, if that makes sense. But it's the first time people have done this in the world. We're in the first cohort of businesses in the world.
I think it's exciting. And I was listening to a podcast a few weeks ago. Web3 Academy podcast is my favorite, and they were talking about the sale of the Saga phone, and I can't remember the numbers off the top of my head because I don't have a brain like yours that remembers all of the numbers, but it was something ridiculous. Like you could have paid in stable coins, or you could have paid with credit card, and they did half of their sales with the stable coins, which saved them something ridiculous, like hundreds of thousands of dollars in fees that didn't go to Visa because they used the stable coins. I think, that's just, one of many use cases, obviously, where the money is staying within the business rather than going to Visa. So let's go over to the audience, and then I'll kind of piggyback back and forth for some of the questions. So Jason, I think he's asking what are flat coins pegged, because it's not really in a question. It just says one, flat coins pegged to price inflation, and two, real world assets backed by stable/fiat coins.
Let me bring it up. Can we unmute the gentleman?
Jason, maybe do you want to clarify your question? Because it's kind of more.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Oh, there's a few questions. Good day to you. I'm going to just remove the chat down so I can see you. There we go.
So Jason, do you want to just clarify what your question is?
Yeah, so the first one is, what do you think of flat coins, coins that instead of being pegged to the US dollar, let's say, they're pegged to the price of inflation, meaning they go up with inflation?
Yeah, good question. Okay, let's do one at a time. So number one, all my answers are Erez. Highly speculative. Stable coins are highly innovative frontier things. And so, take nothing as investment advice. There's no tax advice, but I will tell you what I think. That is what I will do within that realm. So my answer to you in long story short is, with flat coins, it depends on the basket of what they're judging inflation by, and in what place, and in what denominated currency. Because if you use that as a global currency and then everyone goes off US inflation because it's a US dollar one, I'm not sure how that will work. And I'm also not sure how I agree with inflation calculated in the first place either.
Okay. And second question about real world assets.
Yeah, so, well, assets that go up with inflation, let's say real estate, you can fractionalize real estate and peg it to some type of lagging indicator like moving average.
Yeah.
That would be another way. What do you think of that?
RWAs, like, is that what you're saying in general? Okay,
Yeah.
so I think like when you have stable infrastructure to build on, other things start to happen. With stable coins now, USDT, USDC, let's probably look at USDC. It's backed by like BlackRock, Fidelity, large financial institutions. The reason why I answer this question that way is when you want to bring assets on chain, you have to go to the guys who have the assets. And are they ready to bring on chain? What is the financial structure? Some people do this already, like Lisa Wade at DigitalX. They're a listed company on the ASX as well, but they're like a good example of people who are doing it. it has its place. Like, would you say a bond is a real world asset? No, like a house you're talking about.
Yeah, real estate, let's say a real estate investment trust that
You know, like Bricklet.
tokenized.
Do you know Bricklet?
Not Bricklet.
So that
Brick.
exists to some degree without crypto. But the reason why you have it with crypto is that you can decentralize the pool of capital and access great efficiencies of capital and like something else, like a big word. But the main thing is that like, yeah, RWAs are happening. It will happen. You're going to have 20 trillion on chain in a few years. That could be 5 years, 10 years, but it's coming with these guys like BlackRock, Fidelity. And the only reason why that will happen is because of them. Property's happening, but it's, yeah, like Bricklet.
Right.
Don't see why that's better than Bricklet for now.
Some answers there.
It's a good question, Jason. Thank you, mate.
Yeah, good question.
Are you in Brisbane?
Byron Bay.
Oh, mate, lovely.
Come
Did you
down.
up the other day in Byron Bay?
Yeah, that's great.
I go to Byron Bay quite often. Yeah.
We have monthly there too. We'll let you know about them.
Oh yeah, man. Then let me know, and I will. Oh man, glad I asked you. Any excuse, buddy. Oh, good.
Right.
Yeah.
Excuse to go to Byron. All right, I'm going to jump back to some of the questions I have, and then we'll jump back into the chat. So we just kind of talked about some real world kind of examples, you know, with real world assets. But can you give an example of how stable coins are currently being used to improve payment processes?
Yes. I will tell you what we are doing to improve stable payment process at Stables. So today, very soon, actually, I can actually tell you about this, but it will be announced next week because it's all done, which is great. Remittances. Let's talk about remittance. Now I can really talk about it. I'm very excited. I'm probably going to do another whole circulation of Australia 5 times just to tell people about it and then not spend any money on marketing, and that'd just be all our budget. But pretty much today, anyone, not anyone, but people who are legit and can pass our KYC in 129 countries can download our app, Stables. They KYC, which means they verify their identity, which is a very necessary part of the process. And once they've passed, they can deposit funds. Once they've deposited funds, they get a stable coin. And you guys can try it out today. Like you have another friend in Australia, you can send them that stable coin for free. But that guy or girl could be in the other 129 countries. So it's not just for Australia. So it's like Beam It. Who here knows what Beam It is?
I think I've heard of it, but
I bet you someone here knows what Beam It is. It's like Beam It would be stable coins agnostic to where you are in the world. 129 countries is a lot. The other ones are like sanctions and ones you can't deal with. So like that's 80, the other 80. And like they may be further removed. The main thing is like, it's a profound thing you launch out the box, right? But why? Because moving that value, what we've built is to store and move value for us costs us almost nothing. So we make it nothing for you. When you move that money to the Philippines, which is what we're doing at the moment, I think we have Cheska on the call, who's one of our consultants and someone on the ground in the Philippines who works with us. I could send her a stable coin today. I could actually send her peso directly or a stable coin. We pay her, I think, in stable coins. Maybe I shouldn't have told you that. Main thing is you can pay foreign workers, you can move money across the world, right? Agnostic of like jurisdictions within reason, but very cost effectively. And then they can hold that US dollar in the Philippines, like they can in a bank account. It's secure.
Spend it though?
And pardon?
They spend it.
That's coming too. Yeah, we're gonna have QR payments in the Philippines. Yeah. So you know there's no Apple Pay in the Philippines. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, or Google Pay. There's only like by the way, 22% of people in the Philippines have a bank account, let alone a debit card. A debit card is like a status symbol, but in every shop, pretty much, you'll be able to use a QR payment. And also in the Philippines, you'll be able to deposit at any 7-Eleven or Alphamart, which are the 2 largest chains. There's 30,000 of them. You can deposit cash to Stables now. So we're going next level, and it's all, we're talking months, like less than 3 months, I reckon, 4 months for that.
What about other countries? So for example, if I somehow taught my mom to get a Stables wallet, can I send her Stables? But then would she be able to spend that money?
She won't get the off-ramp, but soon she will, before the Philippines, she will get the off-ramp, long story short. But that's too much information for you today. There's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah.
Great.
Next week likely is coming is remittance. We're going to start advertising and launch remittance from Australia to the Philippines using stablecoins. Intraday sub 1%. So we'll deliver the payload less than an hour. We'll try to do less than 15 minutes, and we'll charge less than 1% for that payload, which is truly a basic human right that 80% of the market is paying 6% and it's taking 3 to 5 days. That's to answer your question, the original question.
Thank you for that. All right. One of the questions in the audience is kind of similar to mine. So I'm going to ask mine and then I'm going to go back and review. So stablecoin providers, you know, say such as USDT and USDC, how do stablecoin providers, so I should start that again, ensure the stability and value of their coins? You know, we've heard of coins being depegged before. So USDT and USDC, I think, are the two most popular, and you probably have some more stats and can confirm that. But how do we know that that they are truly backed one-to-one?
It's a good question. I think that at the end of the day, these are very emerging things, and I can't tell you what will happen in 10 years from now and like what will transpire, because I suspect we're in for a gnarly ride of like crazy innovation, and there's a lot of geopolitics going on even between just USDC and USDT that's fascinating to behold and be part of. But I think that, like, for everyone in the audience, you heard about a flat coin. There are decentralized stable coins, so ones that are algorithmic, but also like DAI is decentralized, but it's collateralized by USDC, which is the third largest, might be the fourth now. I think that, and then USDT and USDC, let's talk about that. I mean, I'm not going to comment on the accuracy. Like, you guys can go and check circle.com. I'll speak about Circle because they're a good partner and I like them a lot. We build on Circle. All your funds, if you use Stables, are held in USDC, native on Polygon, and we mint and redeem with Circle. So let's talk about Circle, because we have a lot of comfort with them. I personally do, and I might be wrong, by the way. This is a key risk factor of our business. We take very seriously. So what that means is, let's say if USDC is really depegging, we are able, all your funds, by the way, while they're in Stables, like in our wallet, is different to other people's wallet, by the way. I won't tell you about others, I'll tell you about us, which is we mint and redeem directly with Circle. It means we have an account with Circle. At any time, if we have $1 USDC, we can get $1 into our bank account. If anytime we have $1 in our bank account, we can get $1 USDC on chain, right? So let's say USDC is depegging. What I believe and what I understand to some degree is we would be able to batch. Anyway, we would be able to mint and redeem it 1 for 1.
Okay.
We are a primary issuer and redeemer technically. Okay. However, if you're holding stable coins in your wallet, they might be depegging. And if you're trading in and out of Stables, you might be trading on depeg values. Yes, Bitcoin's pumping. That's great. It's good to know. Main thing is gonna, yeah. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. Also, you know what I love is when people in talks, they do this, stuff like this. If you can do it. If Danielle hasn't blocked you all from.
But, just so everybody knows, I got a little ticker here, so I know the price of Bitcoin and
Is that the rabbit one?
All day long. No, I got it at the Australian Crypto Convention by the Hashnot guy. So yeah, it's definitely pumping at the moment. But anyway.
But yeah, I can't remember exactly where. Oh yeah, so you have decentralized, collateral backed. Anyway, USDC is collateral backed. If you go to circle.com, literally they own circle.com. Such a brilliant thing. It's the best website ever. Even better than Stables.Money, but not that much better. Main thing is on Circle, you have all the audits. And USDC, as I said, is backed by Fidelity and BlackRock. Like those guys, if they go anywhere, we have big issues, big issues. USDC is the blue chip stablecoin by virtue by a ratio of velocity. Velocity is market cap to turnover. So USDT has a much larger market cap
Yeah.
It turns over a lot more than USDC. USDC is held stable. It's held in wallets, not traded, or bonded or held in transit more than USDT effectively. So that's why we use it. But it can, the way they manage their reserves, long story short, is if you look on their website, it's like 70% 3-month dated bonds, government bonds. 20% is a mixture. Sorry, what I say? Yeah, 50% 3-month roughly to 6-month bonds. Then another third is, so like, yeah, so then that brings it up to, they have 20% in cash. So 20% sitting in 3 different banks in the US. And then the remaining is in very short dated treasuries, like a day to a week. And that's all verifiable by third-party audits that are done every day.
Well, and they're probably about to gonna get even more audits because they're going for an IPO as well, aren't they?
It's about, like, in terms of stablecoin standards, Circle has its deficiencies by virtue of its centralization. It is technically bankrupt exposed. So Circle technically went bankrupt, then USDC like technically it should be all right. Anyway, I have no idea, but if you have a big issue, that's what people say. Whereas now there are stable coins coming out that are bankrupt remote, that give you yield with treasuries. That's look what Jason was alluding to. They pass that yield on. So that's how Circle makes money, is they keep that yield, right?
Yeah.
Making pretty fair amount of money for Jam. But they are so far ahead of anyone else. And the issue is, and you have someone with AUDD on the line as well, is this is nothing to speak to AUD or Australian denominated stable coins, but US dollar is really like a huge global currency. It's like the first one that will happen with stable coins, and then there'll be other denominated currencies. Some people smarter than me think it will mirror traditional effects. So USD number one, then Euro, then a mixture of others, but they trail quickly down the list, like from the concentration of Euro and US dollar. So yeah, it's a very interesting thing because you need scale for stable coins to do them properly. You need like at least $10 billion in stable coins to actually start to run it and diversify it properly. It's like a bank almost, but a Web3 digital thing.
So I think you might be kind of partially answering Martin's question. Can you expand on the proliferation of the non-US backed stable coins, example, Euro-based stable coins? Are they going to be useful in the future, or should we stick to US-based stable coins?
Some people say it's not going to be useful, that they're super not bullish. And if you look on chain, and this is not from me, if you look on chain, there's like almost fuck all liquidity of Euro stable coins. Like, try and trade EuroC in above $1 million ticket size. That's what I'm talking about. I don't know if any of you have done it. I don't think you can do it. There's no EuroC or some shit. Main thing is though we are launching in Europe as well, maybe in the second half of the year now. It's going to be like, it's coming, however. And we will likely settle in EuroC if we can with MasterCard and the partner there. So the reason, and this is to talk about non-USD stablecoin. So this is my thesis. I reckon this is going to happen, but this is Erez, and I've been right and I've been wrong. Okay, Martin? So I know I said it might mirror traditional effects. Someone else told me that, but he works in traditional effects. And I said, you know what I think? And he's like, doesn't really care because he has his own agenda. But I went away really then thinking about what he said. And really what I think by virtue of my exposure is, so I've spoken to people who do Singapore dollar straight coins. They're called StraightX. Singapore dollar stable coins, Indonesian, Canada dollar, obviously US dollar, Indonesian rupee, I said, Philippine peso, New Zealand dollar, AUD dollar, Hong Kong dollar. I've spoken to multiple projects in all of those currencies, which are all in the top 10, pretty much, mainly. I don't know if they are, but some of them are. And I think when they look at stablecoins in each of their jurisdictions, Martin, they're all solving a little bit of a different problem. So for example, in New Zealand, we take for granted that we have real-time payments and good digital payments. In New Zealand, I don't know if you know this, they don't. I'm not going to get in trouble with New Zealand by telling you what they have, but it takes time. It takes a couple of days. It's not instant, and it costs, and yeah, it's not so good. They don't have real-time payments in New Zealand.
They don't have like, yeah, pay ID, you mean?
Don't have that. You have to deposit straight to the bank account every single time in normal networks.
It's so far behind the times.
Well, it's not me to comment on, and also, but it's me to help. What that means is we have a digital wallet for stablecoins. And what that means is today there are people, it's been announced, they're called Easy Crypto. Yeah. In New Zealand, I think it's called NZDD. And I asked if they were both done by the same one, which they're not, by the way. And these guys, Easy Crypto, they can, if you deposit and use their stable coins, then it could be intraday, like it could be like a normal stable coin. It could be like a normal digital banking network, but then the government doesn't have to roll it out, kind of. So they're doing that there. That's pretty cool. I think there's definitely a problem to be solved there, but New Zealand is a really, relatively small place. The trading partner is Australia. So I turn on remittance from Australia to New Zealand. I think that'd be a cool thing to work out. But like if you look at Hong Kong dollar, you look at Canada dollar, it's different to a peso and a different to a Singapore dollar problem. That's what I'm trying to say with stable coins. And I don't know enough for all of those jurisdictions to try and tackle them all, but those people in each place, I ask them, what's your problem you're solving for in that place? Because it's definitely not what people with the US dollar are solving for. It has to be very specific and they have to have a competitive advantage in why they're doing that. Like Easy Crypto is the largest exchange in New Zealand. So they will likely, in my opinion, they're a very good candidate to really pull that off. And so I'm happy to partner with those guys, but otherwise we take counterparty risk. Yeah, CBDCs are a different basket. That's a government-backed issued stablecoin. Like, I agree. And I'm not going to talk about privatization. I think you all know, like, your privacy is your privacy. But think about China. They technically already have stablecoins.
Not to talk about CBDCs because we could probably have a whole separate interview for that. So
Sure.
Lisa asked, can you exchange your stable coins for fiat if necessary? Well, I don't know if everybody knows that you can have your Stables wallet in your phone and you can just spend it as if it's fiat, if that answers your question. Or Lisa, are you meaning like to actually get fiat cash out into your bank account?
Hi, yeah, actually, I'll just turn on my camera for a second. If I can. Here I am. Hi, I work for Kraken. Hi, nice to meet you. Sorry, it's got my Kraken background.
Lisa, hello.
I'll just say on a personal note, I used to work with Johnny Wilkinson at Citibank when he first started Equitize. So I've followed it and it's an amazing company. So I'm really stoked that that you worked there for a while. My question about the fiat was really around the time that just before when you were talking about the Philippines. So you can transfer money super quick to the Philippines, and then it goes into a stable, like into the stablecoin wallet. But if there's not the chance for those in the Philippines to be able to spend the stablecoin as such, can it be deposited then can that be converted into cash and then sent to a bank account so that they can get cash out?
You can do that today, actually, through the wallet. Yeah. If you click, so you go, like I have it, obviously I've got one too, but you go in and like we're working on this send experience to make it like really, really smooth. So you're only going to send fiat. You're not going to send, so you have the option to sorry, I'm getting too excited about this answer. You either have the option to send stable coins directly to the person, so it's free. It's like USD to USD. Or if they don't sign up to Stables, you can just send peso.
Okay.
Or if you don't want to send that, you can sign up to Stables and just send them fiat as well now. And you won't interface with the stuff.
Okay, that's cool.
It'll look like Wise, kind of. That's the new send experience, I reckon.
Yep. Okay. Great. Thank you. I appreciate that clarification.
No, thank you for the question. Yeah, look, I look forward to people's feedback on the send and the remittance stuff. You can today. It's been ready for a while. We're doing we've done about 10,000 transactions into the Philippines in the last 2 months, roughly.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay. Yeah, great. Thank you so much.
Pretty well. Yeah.
So I have a quick question, similar to that, to spending. Is there any countries that I can't? So for example, I'm going to Dubai next month. Can I use my Stables wallet over there? Or is there any countries that I can't use my Stables wallet with at the moment? Or can I go?
So, I've been traveling a lot with Stables, and you can, anywhere a MasterCard terminal is accepted, you can spend that stable coin that you can spend with that card, if that's why it's MasterCard. So just check for the MasterCard symbol.
Okay.
And if they can't take it, then tell them to sign up to Stables and then just send it to them peer-to-peer for free.
Okay. Do you use layer 2 for cross-border remittance?
Mm-hmm. Technically, yes, we use Polygon as our scaling network, so we can remove some of those marginal costs and still have the benefits of Ethereum underneath with, I think it's, oh my God, is it zero knowledge or is it's zero knowledge? Yeah, because you can claw back on the consensus or something like that. But yeah, we do use a layer 2. Long story short.
That's right. I'm not sure if I'm 100% clear on this question. Is there a scope for a marketplace to buy and sell various coins on chain?
Yes, let's build businesses here, guys. That's what we're here for. Any questions you can ask? Not really.
But isn't that just a decentralized exchange, or am I not reading that question correctly?
Sorry, let the person, let's clarify with the individual.
Okay.
In a
Marketplace
friendly way.
buy and sell various coins on chain. Susan, can you clarify your question? Maybe I'm just not reading it right.
Oh, look, I was trying to type while trying to feed children at the same time, so it was a little bit hard.
Multitasking.
No worries.
Joys of single motherhood. It's just that I'm one of the co-founders of a blockchain that we have created a series of apps. And so we've actually created like a Craigslist that's decentralized so that you can actually buy and sell other coins. So we've created our own coin, Geode, but then we're working on it in regards to a marketplace. So it's like, rather than, I suppose, because our 50-year scope is that we are looking at being sort of like the Google of all blockchains, so that people can come in, and we're looking at where everyone's doing business. So it was just a question of whether or not there's an opportunity to not just focus on one wallet, because that's where it came from. It was just, is there an option?
Is this marketplace is on your chain, and does it interact with other chains?
It will, yes. So we've
And
built.
your chain is on another chain?
Pardon?
Is it your own chain, or are you using it someone else's chain?
No, it's our own chain.
From scratch?
Yep, we've built it out of volunteers. We've been running for a year. We've been, we basically removed our pseudo a few months ago. So we've just been plugging along.
And okay, my background, look, I'm happy to, like, I think at the end of the day,
We can take it off. We can take it off this platform.
My advice to anyone starting a business, like at an early stage, and in this regard, in this industry, I think my advice in general to any business, actually not just this one, especially this industry, because it can be difficult at times, and on emerging frontiers, there can be a difficult place to traverse if you're not properly equipped. And I think that it's not for me to tell you whether your idea will or will not work, Suzanne. You have an idea, you believe in it, that's all you need, and the people around you. But make sure you covet the energy from all the people not around you that will tell you what they think. Because I'm not in a position to tell you I don't know enough in this short call, because I'd ask you a million questions. And maybe we can reach out on LinkedIn. I'm sure we'll find time. I think that at the end of the day, though, what I would say is I take my hat off to everyone that gets in the ring. And I think it's a really difficult journey to be a founder, and it's not easy. Obviously, that's like saying the same thing twice. It's more like nothing comes easy. Like, building a business, I think. So all I would say is an early stage. build your blocks really deliberately so that you can continue on to build from these blocks. The blocks you have now could be your team, your tech, your strategy, your marketing, but make sure you add your foundational layer, you have enough. Instead of building horizontally, start to build on top. But make sure that those blocks as you go are solid blocks, or else you won't be able to build on top is my
That's crystal clear, Erez, and I
I
will
wish you the best of luck, and I hope marketplaces, why not? Fuck yes, let's go.
All right, I'm mindful of time because I know Erez is a busy man and has got some calls after this one. So I've got two quick last questions. One from Willow saying, going back to what you said earlier about seamless conversion between cross-border payments from one currency to another. Are you saying that there will be no need to bridge an asset or a bridged asset?
All right, we're going to bring the gentleman up again, or the woman.
It's Paul Willow. Want to bring him up?
Good evening.
Hey mate, how are you?
G'day. How are you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Good question. I'm looking forward to helping you out with that one.
Yeah, just before you just sort of touched on, but didn't go into it. I just wanted you to expand on that if you could about your stables just landing in another country and all the I wasn't sure if I picked up on exactly how you were saying that. It just lands as another currency, or how
does it work? Right, good question. So
does it stay as that stable and it's just in another country? Did I misinterpret?
No, so you can do both. Okay, so let me give you an example. Okay, we have two different people, but I'm Erez in Australia. I do so many analogies and things all day like this. It's just, I have to take amusement out of it sometimes. So anyway, here we go. So you are in the Philippines and you don't have a Stables wallet. You just have a Gcash or a bank account, okay? Danielle is in the Philippines. She has a Stables wallet, right? I, today, in Australia, can download Stables, I KYC. Once I've been approved, I can deposit fiat money. I can also deposit and withdraw fiat. So I could go in, deposit $100 and withdraw $100 in the same hour. So it's very liquid in and out, but you don't get to choose other tokens, only stable coins, only USD. And you go in. So now I am holding $100 or G. So I could either send that to Willow, which would be about 55,000 pesos, to your Gcash in the Philippines. Do you know what a Gcash is?
I've heard of it.
It's like
it's their version of WePay.
Yeah, it's like a WeChat for Philippines, but it's like an incredible innovation of financial services there, because 90% of the Philippines have a WeChat, have a Gcash.
Yeah.
But only 22% have a bank account, so it's incredible. Okay, so example one, that would cost me less than 1%. Okay, if I want to send to Danielle, she's also in the Philippines, and she has a Stables wallet. Remember, this is the second example. I can send that stable coin to her also today, and then she can hold that stable coin in US dollars, so she doesn't have to receive and convert back to peso. The US dollar, as you know, is a store of value that combats inflation. And if you were holding peso last year, you were better off, you were worse off 34%. 16% in inflation, 18% on devalue of currency to the US dollar. So these guys, they don't even know they should be fucking holding US dollars, but they're probably holding it in cash, and there's a huge cash economy there, right? So now Danielle can actually just hold the US dollar for free, no fees, right? She can send it to her friends for free. She can convert it back to fiat. She'll get a QR payment. She'll be spending in US dollars soon. It's pretty cool. But there's two archetypes there, if that makes sense. And, you know, I'm non-linear at the best of times. So it's a good question.
Thank you very much, Willow, for your question. And Erez, thank you for that answer. All right, I'm going to wrap it up with one last question. I'm going to kind of combine two questions. So stable coins and regulation around the world and kind of the impact that that's going to have on adoption, which then also takes me into where do you see stable coins, or how do you see them evolving over the next 5 to 10 years, and what kind of impact is it going to have globally?
We don't have enough time for these ones. I will try give you
5 minutes.
way of explaining what I think will happen which I always have to do is in a short period of time, and Erez has to answer your question. So, all right. Let's imagine 5, forget about 10 years. Let's just look at 5, okay? Because it's enough. It's also 10 is twice as much as 5, so it's twice as unclear of something that's already 10% clear. So we've got 1% vision too far. Main thing is 5. All right. I'll ask you one reverse question. What do you think Bitcoin will be in 5 years? What do we think, guys? Put it in the little channel. I want to know.
Think it will be like price, or where do
Yeah,
we?
like 100,000, 20,000, 500,000, 5 years from now.
5 years from
Put it
now?
in US dollars, US dollars. So you got to put your guess in, and if you guess right, 1 million.
250.
Nice. 0 to amazing. 250,000. A large amount. Yeah, it's going up. Yeah. Oh, it's going to go up. That's what we think. Maybe that's why we're on this call. Anyway, that's enough. Main thing is I'm going to answer your question. I think that today, if you look at the market cap of crypto and you look at the market cap of stable coins, they are related. They are correlated, but they're not cyclical. And what I mean by that is, like, regulation wise now, it's starting to take up speed across the world. MiCA, the US House of Congress is looking at USDT now by request of USDC. I know this, but like I'm not going to comment on that. That will be huge. That will be massive. Promise you that. Very interested to see what happens. I don't know anything. Don't ask me. But 5 years from now, if you think Bitcoin would be 500,000, I think let's say that. I have no idea. By the way, no one asked me that. And it's not relevant to this conversation. It's relevant to say stable coins will be in the trillions on market cap. That's what we saw 3 years ago. It will be regulated. Like, we're already regulating it. It's not that hard. It's a payment thing. If you use it a certain way, it's a yield thing. You use it another way. It's an exchange if you exchange it. It's like pretty linear. A remittance is, we are licensed now. This is a new license we got to move money digitally. But they do that with fiat, not with stable coins. We just said it's very similar. It should be a financial product. So I think that when you have people like us trying to do things in a certain way, I won't say the right way, but I will say, like, it's not the fast way and it's not the cheap way. And you need certain people with certain brains who are credentialed, highly capable and responsible people. Technically, Erez is one of those people, apparently. But, you know, I don't take that for granted. I don't take people's money for granted at all. I prefer not to manage. The way we manage people's money is a way we can sleep at night, and we believe is secure and is a way to help people around the world and create a strong impact. And I think that's what stablecoins will do. We're just the conduit of that, or some shit like that. Like, we're just the people who figured it out. I'd say you're trying to start it now, and like the same way that people told me at Seed, it's a bit too late to start this now. Like, that's what they told us. Yeah, it's already happening. Regulation. I don't know if there's any other follow-ons on those, but that's my take on it. Big business, and also great innovation and impact in the world.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think that we could continue going and answer questions all night, but I'm mindful that you've got another call shortly. So I just want to
Sorry,
say,
guys. Yeah, I have a lot of later note in that call, so I have to get to bed earlier. Else Erez is grumpy, and no one likes Erez when he's grumpy. So.
But thank you for your time, and thank you to all the participants asking questions. Feel free, Erez, if somebody wants to get in contact with you, where is the best place for them to reach out to you?
LinkedIn is good. That's the only social media that I use, I'm pretty sure, because would be a hermit living in Byron Bay if I could. I'm not saying that hermits live in Byron Bay. I'm saying that I have hermit tendencies. I've been told.
And for anybody that does,
thanks, Martin. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, MB and Suzanne. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you for joining.
And just lastly, before everyone jumps off, anybody that doesn't have a Stables wallet already in your phone, and it makes it really easy, as I said, to spend your Stables or transferring. If you enter an ATB, if you go and sign up on Stables and enter an ATB, you get 5 USD to get you started, so you can go and have a coffee on Erez. And that's it from everyone. I hope I'll see you on Monday. Not on Monday. Gosh. we're planning around. I'll see you on Friday, Erez. I'll be in Melbourne. For anyone else,
Oh,
we
so good.
so many events. So thank you very much for everyone. And
Coffee on me, guys. Enjoy.
see you soon. Bye.
Get me a beer. Get me a beer. I'm joking.
Referral code is ATB. All you have to do is put in ATB for those of you that want the referral code. So thank you. We'll do a post and I'll send out an email as well. So thank you very much, everyone who jumped on the call. I see a lot of questions in there about AUDD. Maybe we'll have to get some of the Nevada team. I think Effie's on the call. Maybe we'll have to do another AMA all on Australian stable coins. But once again, everyone, thank you very much and have a good night.